From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
A big warm-up on its way to Oklahoma City. We've got your back with how soon we will see 70s.
And controversy at the state capitol as some House staffers see pay bumps while the huge state budget hole remains.
But first, let's go ahead and check in with Fox 25's Jennifer Falsetti at the live desk. She's staying on top of if the federal government is going to be shutting down or not. Jennifer.
Mike and Wendy, it has been a very busy day in Washington as Congress scrambles to get a spending deal passed before tomorrow, which is the deadline, avoiding a government shutdown. Now, a temporary spending bill passed earlier on this evening in the House, and right now the Senate is taking up that bill. Let's take you there live right now. It does appear, though, that the Senate is not on board with any sort of temporary spending plan. This is a bipartisan thing. This is all around the board. Both Republicans and Democrats seem to want a permanent fix, especially when it comes to immigration and funding for DACA. Now, again, tomorrow is the deadline for that government shutdown. Democrats are wanting a plan that will continue funding for DACA and will be a permanent solution. Republicans, they also want a permanent solution, but they want to fund DACA and also ensure border security. Again, that deadline tomorrow, it does look as though this temporary spending bill will not pass the Senate tonight. Of course, I will continue watching this for you very closely on our live feeds and bring you any new developments right here at the live desk.
Jennifer, thank you. All new at 9. A 13-year-old boy is dead after officials say he tried to help his paralyzed father escape from a fire. The Love County Sheriff's Office says his father has also died. This happened in Marietta yesterday. Officials say the boy was trying to help his 60-year-old father get out of their burning mobile home. Investigators say that fire may have started because of space heaters. And we've got you back with a reminder from firefighters to check your smoke alarms here in Oklahoma City. You can go by any fire station and request that they install a free alarm for you. Firefighters say that they must install them for you to make sure that they are working. Now, you can call this number right here. You can also drop by any station to get a schedule your installation. We also have this number on our website at okcfox.com.
Right now, a shooting under investigation after a 72-year-old woman is shot and killed by officers. You are looking live at Bartlesville, where it all happened. 2 police officers also recovering tonight after they say the woman attacked them. It happened yesterday during a drug trafficking investigation. Police served a search warrant, and once inside, they told Mike Livingston to get to the floor. Investigators say his mother, Geraldine Townsend, started shooting at them with a high-powered pellet gun, and officers fired back. She died at the hospital. Now, people who live nearby say this raises concerns.
It's kind of scary, you know, because it's too close to home, and Bartlesville's a great place to live, but, you know, I'm kind of having second thoughts of, you know, is it safe?
One of the officers was taken to the hospital for a facial injury and is undergoing surgery to remove a projectile. Right now, OSBI is handling this investigation. Livingston is now in jail facing drug charges.
We've got you back with a traffic alert now. ODOT putting the brakes on a major highway closure scheduled for this weekend. The Fox 25 Mother Nature drone shot this video right here. Officials are delaying the closure on I-235 between 36th and I-44 because of wind that's in the forecast. That wind could cause problems in moving 2 huge railroad bridges into position. Now the plan is to close the road on January 26th, weather permitting.
Good evening, everybody. This was the warmest day this week by far. Highs this afternoon were in the 40s and 50s, and it does get warmer and windier as we go into the weekend. This cold front comes in, but not until late Sunday, so all the cooler weather waits until Monday to come into Oklahoma. Even some rain is possible this weekend with that system coming in. But with the winds increasing, the fire danger does elevate. It'll be the most dangerous coming up on Sunday. It'll be in the critical category, but this evening things are nice and quiet. Clear skies, it's very cold. Temperatures overnight down to about 24 in Oklahoma City, so another freezing night, just a bit of a breeze, but that warming trend will continue all the way through the weekend. Temperatures and winds go up, some rain is possible, and who gets thunderstorms this weekend? Your Storm Watch 7-day in just a few minutes.
Let's take you live right now to the Oklahoma State Capitol. That is where several staff members for the House of Representatives recently received substantial pay raises. The move is facing criticism. It comes at a time when state lawmakers are dealing with a projected $100 million budget shortfall, and several state agencies have gone through funding cuts and layoffs. Fox 25's Caroline Vandergriff joins us live here in the studio with the latest. Caroline.
Here's what we know. Some professional staff for the House, including attorneys and fiscal analysts, received pay increases. We're still working to find out just how many employees got those raises and the total cost. But no matter the dollar amount, the Oklahoma Public Employees Association is frustrated by this news, since thousands of state agency employees haven't gotten raises in more than a decade.
Oklahoma's budget woes have dominated headlines for months. State lawmakers have yet to reach a deal to close an estimated $100 million gap. So the fact that the House recently gave raises to some of its staff didn't sit well with the Oklahoma Public Employees Association.
It seems like the House is taking care of their own and not dealing with other state employees who are the backbone of this state.
The House says the employees who got raises were being paid below market value relative to state agencies. Jason Sutton, spokesperson for House Speaker Charles McCall, told us that the House of Representatives routinely loses professional staff and corresponding institutional knowledge to the state agencies, which generally pay staff at higher rates than the legislature. He cited 2 key employees the House lost in the past 2 months to jobs with better pay. But state agencies also see high employee turnover.
I can take you to 10,000 to 15,000 state employees right now and show you how far they're below market. And they're just as important, if not more important, than some of the House staff that was given raises.
That's why the OPEA is throwing its support behind a bill to give state employees a bump in pay.
It's incredible to me that we can't get this right.
And calling on lawmakers to do better by state employees.
The legislature receives an annual appropriations for operations just like state agencies do and can fund raises out of that. So the spokesperson for the House Speaker pointed out the agencies have the same ability as the legislature to give employees pay increases. However, since several state agencies have faced cuts because of the current budget crisis, that seems like an unlikely possibility. Wendy?
Caroline, thank you. Representative Dustin Roberts has filed the bill to increase state agency employee pay. It would provide a $2,500 pay raise in 2018, 2019, and 2020 for a 3-year total of $7,500.
Right now, a grand jury is in recess until next month after not making any recommendations on the Bixby sexual assault case. Several members of the high school football team were accused of sexually assaulting a teammate. Well, today, the grand jury met right here in Oklahoma City. In a statement, they said that they have not completed their investigation, but say they will be back next month and could call additional witnesses. It's unclear right now if or when the grand jury could recommend an indictment. They will reconvene February 13th.
Happening today, Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett giving his final State of the City address. Here is a live look at downtown Oklahoma City right now. Cornett said the metro is reaching a new milestone. The mayor said that higher standards are the best way to describe the city's rise, citing new ballparks, arenas, and public buildings that have been built over the last few years. He also said a commitment to hire more police officers and firefighters has improved the city's safety. Since Cornett took office, incarceration numbers are down 30% in Oklahoma City. He also discussed the MAPS 3 Park project that kicked off in 2004, saying it was one of his first big projects. Despite all the success, Cornett said that no city is ever problem-free.
No city ever becomes problem-free. No city is ever totally successful at addressing that intersection between poverty and homelessness and mental illness. And it doesn't mean we haven't tried. And it certainly doesn't mean we don't give up.
Cornett's speech today comes after 14 years in office. He is the longest tenured mayor in the history of the city. He's now running for governor.
And right now you're looking at Amazon's website where you can see the finalists for their new headquarters.
As you can see, Oklahoma City is not on that map. 20 lucky cities, though, are now vying to be the online retail giant's next stop.
Oklahoma City was one of 238 bidders contending for Amazon's attention. Now, the company, which is based in Seattle, plans to invest $5 billion in development and create up to 50,000 jobs wherever it builds its newest hub. Among its criteria, more than 1 million residents, proximity to an airport, manageable communities, and diverse demographics, connectivity, and local schools churning out potential employees. The Oklahoma City Metro meets it all, but Mayor Mick Cornett says the timing is off.
I think we would have been a great choice. I think we gave them some things to seriously consider. But long term, we have a lot of conversations going on with Amazon. I think long term we fit into their plans. May not be the second corporate headquarters, but I think they're going to have a significant presence in Oklahoma City.
In the coming months, the company says it will work with each of the finalists to dive deeper into their proposals.
New tonight, the Trump administration wants to make it easier for medical professionals to avoid providing services that conflict with their moral or religious beliefs.
Here's a live look at Washington tonight, where pro-choice forces are furious. But Oklahoma Senator James Lankford says he supports the president on this issue.
Today, the Department of Health and Human Services announced the creation of the Conscience and Religious Freedom Division. The division will make it easier for doctors, nurses, and other healthcare providers to opt out of services that violate their moral or religious beliefs.
It will also ensure hospitals, clinics, and other health communities accommodate religious beliefs.
Can we at least agree that Americans should have freedom of conscience? Can we at least agree on late-term abortions when a child is clearly viable? And can we at least agree that when a child is born alive, they should be protected?
The timing of today's announcement coming on the eve of the annual March for Life. President Trump will speak to the crowd via satellite link, and Speaker Ryan will address the marchers in person.
Now to a developing story. An Oklahoma Wind Coalition executive says no one in the wind industry placed a tracking device on a state lawmaker's car. Republican Representative Mark McBride said that he believed the wind industry was behind the spying because he supports oil and gas. Now, he discovered the tracking device last month, and police are now investigating.
Coming up, hear what gymnast Michaela Maroney is saying in her testimony against the former USA gymnastics doctor.
Plus, only on Fox 25, the progress being made as the U.S. continues to wage war in the fight against ISIS.
And the technical glitch that might be draining your bank account.
How hats will help heart health in Oklahoma. Think you just can't save money? Fox 25 Consumer Watch has got your back with the small and big ways that you can make your savings account a reality. Tonight on the Primetime News at 9.
And coming up on the Primetime News at 9, this Caterpillar is actually teaching kids how to code. We're going to tell you how the Metropolitan Library System is teaching kids and how they're actually having lots of fun doing it. All that's coming up on the Primetime News at 9.
We've got you back tonight with a recall alert. Whole Foods chicken salad is being recalled because of misbranding and a possible allergen that's not listed on the label. Take a look at this. The chicken salad was mistakenly packaged with a chicken wrap label that you see right there. The actual product contains milk, but it's not listed on the label. The salad affected has a best by date of January 20th of 2018. If you have this in the fridge, throw it away or take it back to the store. There have been no reports of sickness because of the mislabel.
New details tonight. The parents who are accused of torturing and holding their 13 kids captive have pleaded not guilty. David and Louise Turpin are charged with several counts of torturing and holding their 13 children captive. Officials say the children were only allowed to shower twice a year. Food was rationed, and they slept all day and were awake all night. The victims told officials the parents would chain them, beat them, and even strangle them as punishment.
These punishments would last for weeks or even months at a time. We're fully prepared to seek justice in this case.
If convicted, they face up to 94 years to life in prison.
And right now we are learning more about what led up to Hawaii's false nuclear missile alert. This is a live look at the island right now. The investigation is ramping up with a new timeline showing state officials took more than 20 minutes to contact the feds for approval that they didn't even need, and another 15 minutes to cancel the alert that was sent to mobile devices. House Speaker Paul Ryan says the military should be playing a greater role in these types of alerts, and that will require more training and more funding.
Happening right now, the U.S. Senate has decided they will not be voting on that short-term spending bill we told you about just a few moments ago that the House passed earlier on this evening. They will reconvene tomorrow morning. Again, the deadline to pass a spending bill is tomorrow, or else there could be a government shutdown. Let's take you live now to Washington. Now, the bill that the House had voted to pass today it was a temporary short-term spending plan that would keep the government funded through February. However, the Senate just now said it was irresponsible to put it up for a vote and would take it up again for discussion tomorrow. This, of course, would continue funding for the DACA program, as well as increase border security as well, and prevent that government shutdown should they not reach a deal come the end of the day tomorrow. Of course, this is something we're watching very closely for you right here at the live desk.
We have new details tonight about the third day of sentencing in the sexual abuse case against former USA Gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar. During today's hearing, an attorney read a statement from Olympic gymnastic champion Michaela Maroney. In the statement, Maroney condemned Nassar for his actions, but she also criticized several agencies, including Michigan State, USA Gymnastics, and the U.S. Olympic Committee for failing to recognize the red flags raised in connection with Nassar's former sexual assault.
As it turns out, much to my demise, Dr. Nassar was not a doctor. He in fact was and forever shall be a child molester, a monster of a human being, end of story. He abused my trust, he abused my body, and he left scars on my psyche that may never go away.
Nassar pleaded guilty in November of 2017 of sexually assaulting his patients by claiming it was medical treatment. The judge could sentence Nassar as early as tomorrow.
Back here in Oklahoma, handmade hats for newborns will carry a special message with them. This is a live look at the American Heart Association website right now, where you can donate to this cause. They will give new moms the hats along with life-saving information for both them and their baby. Well, tonight, Fox 25's Jordan Lucero talked with doctors about the message and the crafters who made the hats.
One by one, local women, knitters and crocheters brought their hats to donate to this cause. These hats will go out to hospitals for babies born next month. Little Hats, Big Hearts. It's a new project for the Oklahoma City American Heart Association. Organizer Denise Castelli says it'll shed light on an issue facing new moms.
We've found that those issues are on the rise with new moms, and when we asked some of the professionals that are going to be accepting these hats what message they wanted to give the community, this is what they decided on.
The hats will help spread the messages. Heart health needs to start at birth, and women can experience heart failure postpartum. Local knitters and crocheters spent the last 3 months working on the hats. They handmade hundreds of them, donating them to the project.
The hats have been a joy already. We have so many types of hats.
Babies born in February at 3 hospitals in Oklahoma City will get red hats, and mom will get information. Doctors say they need to realize some complications they have during pregnancy, like gestational diabetes, high blood pressure, and preterm birth can increase their risk for cardiovascular disease. They need to know if they have chest pain and shortness of breath that doesn't go away after half an hour, they need a doctor.
I think shortly after having their babies, mothers get very caught up in the duties as a new mother or just, as a continuing mother, and don't think much about what's going on with themselves. And oftentimes I think women can write off some of these symptoms.
They're already getting ready to do this same event next year. If you want to get involved, there's an even easier step for you. You can come here, pick up some free yarn that'll be donated by Hobby Lobby to get your project started. Jordan Lucero, Fox 25 News.
And go to OKCFox.com. We've got your back with where to go and who to contact if you would like to help make those baby hats. They were very, very cool. All right, coming up, we've got your back tonight with the small steps you can take right now to start saving, even if you are struggling financially.
And Lincoln Riley finished his first year as coach, and now he has the huge task of replacing Baker Mayfield.
And freezing cold for the kids at the bus stop in the morning, in the 20s, warmer tomorrow afternoon, and mostly above freezing through next week. Your Storm Watch 7 day at 9:32.
The start of a new year is an excellent time to figure out how your budget should look. Now, right now, we're showing you a live look at U.S. News and World Report.
Their #1 recommendation for setting a budget now is to look at how you spent your money last year. Having good personal finance doesn't mean you have to have a lot of money.
Fox 25's Maria Garcia has your back with how you can practice better financial sense even with a small paycheck. This is tonight's Consumer Watch.
One of the most common complaints Fox 25 Consumer Watch hears is, I can't save money. Though many families are living paycheck to paycheck, there are some small and big changes you can make to start building that savings anyway. Setting a budget is always going to be point number one.
If you don't know how much you're spending every month and how much you have coming in every month, then it's really hard to determine, well, how much do I have to save?
Numbers have to show you what you have and what you don't. A small change you can make to have some money to save: eat out less. If small changes aren't going to cut it, you can think of making a bigger sacrifice to get on a financially stable playing field. A big change could mean getting a second job and using that money only for saving or paying down debt. Another major change: downsizing your living space. Moving to another part of town or to a smaller place could save you big bucks on your regular monthly bills.
If you know where you're at, then you can create that roadmap to where you want to go.
Having good personal financial sense doesn't mean you need to have a lot of money, but depending on your current take-home pay and debt, it could mean some sacrifice.
If you decide to move to a smaller place to save money, you'll also be saving on more than just rent or your mortgage. Often you'll also save on utility costs. Maria Garcia, Fox 25 Consumer Watch.
And coming up, will cause an Oklahoma school to have to close its doors for the rest of the week.
Plus, only on Fox 25, as the fight against ISIS continues, the new techniques being used to battle their social media presence.
And the shocking number of Americans that are just one emergency away from being in huge financial trouble.
We have breaking news just into our newsroom out of Utah right now. We are just learning that a double tanker hauling gasoline has exploded and it has shut down an interstate, a busy interstate in Utah. Let's show you some video from our sister station. They obtained this from the Utah Department of Transportation. You can see it is just, traffic is just at a standstill. This is I-15. The truck was traveling southbound. There are extreme traffic backups in that area. However, injuries are not known. We do not know if anyone was killed in this accident. We are still working to learn more information. Our sister station in Salt Lake City has a crew on the way, and we'll bring you any new details once we learn more right here at the live desk.
An Oklahoma elementary school will be out the rest of the week due to high levels of carbon monoxide gas. More than 100 students were evacuated at Charles Evans Elementary School in Ardmore today. No injuries or illnesses were reported. School officials say students will be back in class next week.
A Yukon man has been busted a second time for having child pornography and sharing it with others. The Canadian County Sheriff's Office says Tracy Williams was already awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to child pornography charges. Authorities say he downloaded and shared another video of an underage girl performing lewd acts. After his first arrest, Sheriff Chris West says he called Williams a monster on TV, and that statement came up again this week.
As I walked into the room, and he made a comment about not appreciating me referring to him as a monster when we had arrested him in 2016. And so I made a comment about, so you're not a monster? And he said, no, I just enjoy all of God's creations.
Williams' bond is set at $50,000, but officials say because of his previous charges, his bond could be raised.
In international news now, with the fall of the Islamic State's caliphate in Syria, what happens to ISIS now? National correspondent Michelle Macaluso tells us where they could go next. It's only on Fox 25.
Roughly 40,000 foreign fighters poured into Syria and Iraq to fight for ISIS. The U.S.-led coalition now estimates less than 1,000 fighters remain, and 98% of the Islamic State's so-called caliphate recaptured.
It's been tremendous progress. Last several months have been very good.
We've made tremendous progress. There's no doubt about that.
Despite the terrorist group's losses, ISIS is still a threat, and the United States remains a target.
The second chapter, though, is ISIS, knowing they're defeated on the battlefield, will try to inspire
one-off attacks, more asymmetric attacks elsewhere.
U.S. officials say ISIS will continue to spread propaganda on social media to inspire their followers.
There are global manifestations of their brand that we see pop up.
In New York, authorities are now investigating ISIS selfies after a man sporting ISIS gear took a photo outside of a museum in New York City. And another picture appeared on social media of a person holding a phone with an ISIS logo in front of the World Trade Center 1.
They have metastasized, they're evolving, they're spreading out.
ISIS banners are also popping up in other areas around the globe, from West and North Africa, Afghanistan, to the Philippines.
They'll look to other nations, such as the Philippines and other places around the world where they might be able to establish cells. They'll probably become more of a insurgency in some of these areas within the Middle East, and they'll continue to aspire to attack.
Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube say they are stepping up their efforts to fight terrorism online. They told lawmakers in a Senate hearing that not only are they removing extremist content, but they are also using counter messaging to target people who could be influenced by terrorists. On Capitol Hill, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
New tonight, government scientists say 2017 was one of the hottest on record. NASA says it was the second warmest year since record keeping began, while NOAA says it was the third warmest. Both agencies have been independently monitoring temperatures around the world since 1880. NOAA says the difference in findings comes down to different methods the agencies use to analyze global temperatures. Both agencies agree that the 5 warmest years on record have all occurred since 2010.
Hope you're having a great Thursday, everyone. We had some high, thin cirrus clouds roll in late this evening. That made for one heck of a nice sunset. This is overlooking the Oklahoma River. So thank you, Joshua from Oklahoma City, for sending us this picture. And you can see those high, thin clouds here on the satellite and radar. But the next cold front does not come in until late Sunday. Between now and then, it does get warmer and windier. And when the system does cruise by, it only gets slightly cooler with a slight chance of rain. So no huge changes when this thing comes through, and a huge chill tonight, that's for sure. So here we go again, back down to way below freezing, 20s to about 30 overnight, and that's how we start your Friday morning, freezing. 25 in Oklahoma City, and not breezy just yet, but it does get windy real quick tomorrow morning, and we get into the 30s and 40s between 9 and 10. 52 at noon, so not a bad recess. Sunny and very cool, breezy and mild tomorrow afternoon. So thanks to all that sunshine and wind, that will shove us to right around 58, maybe 60 in Oklahoma City tomorrow afternoon. So most of the 60s will be out west, but I think all these 60s come creeping into central Oklahoma as we go into the weekend. So your highs on Saturday and Sunday, low to mid 60s, and this looks like great outdoor weather, but it's really not. The winds are going to be so darn strong coming from the south, gusting over 30, maybe 35 miles an hour. That's going to mess up your outside plans, mess up your hairdo, and Sunday even worse because the winds get stronger and there is a chance of rain. Not much of one. So a stray shower possible on Sunday morning, chances 10, maybe 20%. Better possibilities of showers and thunderstorms over here in eastern Oklahoma. And remember, when this front comes through, just a little bit cooler behind this thing. So even though we hit the 60s this weekend, they quickly go away next week. But we don't go down too far. Highs in the middle to upper 50s, and that's well above the average. The average high nowadays is about 50, and morning lows in the low to mid 30s. Very chilly, but it's supposed to be.
It is supposed to be, that's true. Coming up, the huge bank glitch that could have cost you big bucks. What you need to know if you're missing some of your hard-earned cash tonight.
Yep, plus the new research that could cause a major shift in how athletes' head injuries are treated.
The simple everyday items you already have in your home that can make your house cleaner than ever before. Tomorrow morning, 5 to 9.
If you were hit with a $1,000 emergency, would you be able to cover it? The majority of Americans cannot. A new report from Bankrate.com found that only 39% would be able to pay a bill that size out of savings. Among those who say they couldn't pay, 36% say that they would need to borrow the money or put it on a credit card. We've got your back with a reason to check your bank account. If you bank with Wells Fargo, they are apologizing for a glitch that drained customer accounts by double paying their bills online. The processing error that caused the double posting of some items was fixed overnight. and the company says it's going to refund any related fees or charges.
A new study says concussions do not lead to CTE. Researchers at Boston University now say it's caused by repeated head trauma with or without a concussion. The disease causes Alzheimer's-like symptoms, and it's typically associated with professional football players and military veterans. Researchers recreated head traumas in mice and discovered those exposed to multiple traumas but no concussions developed CTE. CTE can only be diagnosed by examining the brain after death.
And not very winter-like this weekend, so any precipitation that does come in will be just plain old rain. So that shouldn't happen on Saturday. We're going to have dry skies starting off in the 40s. We never go below freezing this weekend, which is nice. Not so much fun will be the winds. So winds will be gusting over 30, maybe 40 miles an hour as we go into Saturday and Sunday. And in the morning on Sunday, 40s to about 50, and then we shoot all the way into the middle 60s on Sunday afternoon. Some spotty rain is possible mostly in the morning, but still a lot of dry time for your Sunday. But again, a lot of wind. Getting cooler next week. Another peek at your 7-day coming up next.
Breaking news just into our newsroom just within the last couple of minutes. A police pursuit in Oklahoma City has ended in a crash. We have a live picture there that we're going to bring up for you. This is where it ended. This is Northwest 36th and Chartel. You can see there is a very heavy police presence in that area at this time. Now, this chase did not last very long. This was only going on for about 10 minutes or so, eventually taking officers down I-35 and ending here in this portion of Northwest Oklahoma City. We don't know at this point why officers attempted to pull this person over, whether or not this is a stolen vehicle, but we would advise that you avoid this area at this time. Of course, we have a crew on the scene and we'll bring you any new details once we learn more right here at the live desk.
Well, Burks aren't the only thing to be found at the Northwest Library tonight.
Kids ages 7 to 10 were there earlier learning how to code and program robots. Fox 25's Mitch English was there getting outsmarted by tomorrow's scientists.
Here at the Northwest Library branch of the Metropolitan Library System, they have something where it teaches kids how to code, and it's actually lots of fun. They're able to use caterpillars that are basically lined up by the way that they code it, put it together. They tell the caterpillar what to do, it does it. They also have neat little robots all controlled by an iPad. Very, very neat as the kids are learning how to do this. Now, this is all for kids ages from 2nd grade all the way up to 5th grade. Just one of the many programs that they have here. Kim Terry, she's with the Metropolitan Library System. And as I said, this is just one of many that you have.
We have tons of programs all around. You know, the libraries are not just about books anymore. We've got stuff like this. We have classes on music recording at the Midwest City Library. You can learn how to do your own music recording. We have more programming classes like this. We even have an escape room class here at the Northwest Library where it's like you solve a puzzle to be able to get out of the room.
And you think about it, that's how kids learn. You know, we always think books. Sure, books are a great wealth of information, but hands-on stuff like this is really what they're going to take back with them and really get them excited. And we mentioned lots of girls here as well.
I know, girls, that's great that they're interested in the coding. You know, coding and robotics is such a hot topic, and the girls are interested. I mean, that's great.
All right, there's a lot going on, and of course, if you want to check out these programs, they got them all lined up. It's on their website. You can check it out. We have links on ours. All you have to do is go to okcfox.com.
Fox 25 Chief Meteorologist Jeff George taking one more look at that forecast for us.
Yeah, this thing's like an emotional roller coaster too, because, you know, it's cold one day, then it's nice and warm, then it's rainy, then it's sunny. I'm making this sound a lot worse than it is because it's mostly nice. So above average temperatures from here on out. We have a small chance of rain coming up on Sunday. Very windy between now and next week, and morning lows in the 30s, but we're kind of used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield winning the 2017 Manning Award for the top QB in the country. No surprise there. The award was created by the All-State Sugar Bowl to recognize accomplishments of Archie, Peyton, and Eli Manning. Now, Baker is OU's first Manning Award winner. This is the 7th major honor of the season for him. Of course, the Heisman being the biggest one of them all. Now, it's weird to think that Mayfield will be playing Sundays instead of Saturdays come next season. Every time a season comes to an end, there are voids to be filled. Fox 25 sports director Myron Patton sat down with one of his longtime colleagues and friends, James Hale, who's a radio host for Sports Talk 1400 and also a leading contributor for OU Insider, to talk the future of this Sooners offense. Take a look.
The Oklahoma offense lost some big names. Baker Mayfield, Orlando Brown, Mark Andrews among those who've moved on from their OU careers with their sights set on the NFL. At quarterback, it seems Kyler Murray is the people's choice to replace Mayfield, but does Austin Kendall see it that way?
Austin Kendall has a chance because Lincoln promised him he would. That's why he redshirted this past year, and he had a great redshirt year. He was great on the scout team. Kyler went 18 for 21 throwing the ball, and I still have people asking me, can he throw it? He went 18 for 21. And, you know, he's throwing 18 for 21, hitting guys on 70-yard streak routes. Austin Kendall is more the prototype of what Lincoln looks for to run this offense. He's a Baker Mayfield clone. So, yeah, I think that we do have competition. I think Kyler's going to have to win the job. I think he's got the best chance. They've seen him. They like what he brings. And so I think in the back of their minds, they're thinking, okay, he's going to be the guy, but it's not clear cut.
Tight end Mark Andrews helped Mayfield win the Heisman, but with him out of the picture, sophomore-to-be Grant Calcaterra would be the choice to replace Andrews.
Calcaterra actually, I think, is further ahead, Myron, as a receiver as Mark Andrews was. I mean, he was in more of a passing offense coming out of high school, and I think he's just a prototype of what you look for there.
With Rodney Anderson returning, everyone's back at running back, but the guys blocking up front will be different, with Orlando Brown gone and the other walk-on, Eric Wren, having vacated the center position.
It's going to be interesting. I think Bobby Evans does become the left tackle, so who becomes the right tackle? Drew Samia started out his career and started as a freshman at tackle, and you can move him back there. I think Creed Humphrey is the odds-on guy to beat the starting center. But Jonathan Oliver has redshirted, thinking he's going to come back and start either at that guard or that center spot.